Regionals presented by Capital One. Survival Sunday from Tuscaloosa, the 8th overall national seed Alabama Crimson Tide and the Arizona State Sun Devils meet again. This time, it's in the regional final. Alabama with the longest ever regional win streak of 39. They need one more to advance to the Super Regionals. Arizona State would need to win both games today in order to move on. As we say hello and welcome in, delighted that you are with us with the three-time All-American and national champion Caleb Bro. I'm Tiffany Green. Well, we saw Arizona State put Alabama really on high alert yesterday until some late game heroics that turned the tide.
Yeah, a lot of offensive production early in the game yesterday. Both had a really strong plan against the opposing pitcher. It worked out well, but it really came down to a few adjustments and one big pinch hit, and Caroline Hardy was the one that got it done for Alabama, coming off the bench with an 0-2 count with the bases loaded, gets the job done, and that would be all the Tide would need to get the victory, to help out the freshman Montana Fouts in the circle, because she started off a little rocky, got touched up by Arizona State, but came back, finished the day with 12 strikeouts, made some adjustments, got tougher and tougher as the game went on, and led the Tide to victory.
You mentioned that the Sun Devils were able to touch up Montana Fouts here, but they were able to come around as Montana Fouts got the run support that she needed.
They are a talented offense. They average over 7 runs a game. They have 88, 89 home runs on the year. So they have the ability to make a big impact in the box, and that's where they need to be the strongest if they want to go and force game 2 against Alabama today.
We saw Kendra Hackbarth get that home run. That's the first one given up from Fouts since March 8th. More importantly, she got a career high 12 strikeouts and the win to move to this regional final. And so, who will win this regional final? Arizona State or Alabama? Come back with us to watch it all unfold. Welcome into the Rhodes House in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The Crimson Tide and Sun Devils are just about set and ready to go. In the circle for Arizona State is Ciela Meza, the transfer from Long Beach State. And she was the Big West Pitcher of the Year a season ago, and she has gotten all 3 starts for her team this weekend. You see her numbers there as 11-plus innings, struck out 8, but also given up 9 earned runs.
A little bit of surprise to go with Mesa again against Alabama, but she's going to throw in the mid to low 60s. She's got a screw rise curve, and what makes those difficult to hit is she throws them at all different speeds, so she's going to work velocity change aggressively throughout this game and try and keep Alabama at bay, and she's got a tough job because wasn't that successful against the Tide, gave up 7 runs in her first outing.
And as we take a look at that Alabama starting lineup brought to you by Capital One, they've gotten production really all throughout the lineup. Only 2 batters have gone hitless this weekend. Leading it off is Alyssa Brown, as we talk about. She is the catalyst for this offense. She gets on base. She is ever so dangerous, and it's a nice balance of speed and power, as Patrick Murphy knows that he's got a dynamic group here, the most wins in the country with 54 on the season, racked up 2019 SEC Coach of the Year honors, also has the Freshman of the Year in the conference, along with the Pitcher of the Year in Sarah Cornell, who we'll get a chance to see later today. And beating that one out in the infield is Alyssa Brown.
And that's how you get things started. Alyssa Brown wastes no time. First pitch, uses the ground. And we mentioned many times this week, the Alabama dirt is so hard. So all you got to do is hit the top half of the ball, give it some control, make Jade Gortares get rid of the ball as quickly as possible. And she tries, but there's no chance on that play.
Brown with 4 singles on the weekend to go along with 4 runs, and she's got 2 base nabs over the last 2 days. KB Sides, the sophomore out of Dora, Alabama, plants her feet in the box, getting ready to go. No stolen bases though yesterday against Arizona State. Here's Brown taking off, and she slides in safely. That's her 45th stolen base of the season. Got 100 plus for her career.
Didn't see it yesterday. Alyssa Brown challenges Maddie Hackbarth today early in this game. And that throw is just going up the line enough, and look at Alyssa Brown ducking to avoid the tag.
Swing and miss there from Sides. RBI double against Alabama State in the opening game of the weekend. And while you may be used to seeing, obviously, the home team as the bottom of the scoreboard, they are the visitors today here from Rhodes Stadium. They flip-flop here today, so Alabama leading things off. And just jammed from Sides and pops out to third base. Kennedy, Jay Gortares, Bella Loomis, and Danae Chapman in the infield for Trisha Ford, as she is making her 3rd straight NCAA tournament appearance in her 3rd season as the head coach, a group that made it to the Women's College World Series last year. She's described this group as a very gritty group, as they saw a lot of turnover in personnel, but they find themselves yet again back in another regional. 31st appearance overall for the program. One and two now to Kaylee Tao. All SEC first team selection. One of the more disciplined hitters in the country. One of the top 3 in walks. 60 plus in that category. And this one popped up to shallow left center. Jay Gortares is there for out number 2. Brown still standing at second after that leadoff single.
And this was a trend in game 1 when Alabama and Arizona State played each other yesterday, was that Alabama tended to hit a lot of pop-ups against Cielo Mesa. No different here today, and you see the success when Alyssa Brown is able to put the ball on the ground. And I think he's going to need to see an adjustment from the Tide, because you can't leave your leadoff hitter stranded on second base when she gets on and sets the table that way. And even going back to the KB Sides at bat, missed the bunt opportunity. And if you get her to third, then you talk about a pop-up or a deep fly ball working out as a sac fly. It's completely different when you're on second base.
Trisha Ford using this time to talk to her entire infield, and Hackbarth behind the plate, and just how are they going to approach Bailey Hemphill, one of the best sluggers in all of college softball, ever so dangerous. Hasn't had many opportunities this weekend, 1 for 3, but she's also gotten a base 4 times by way of walk.
Yeah, and they're going to play super deep against Bailey Hemphill on the infield. Not a ton of speed in the box, so if they can limit a ball to the outfield, that's a huge win for them, because if the ball falls in the grass, you can almost guarantee that Alyssa Brown is going home.
Music gets that one in there for a strike. Bill fouls that one back. Well, a good test and challenge early on, just to get a little heat check for both teams to see where they stand, as Alabama has the opportunity to jump on the board first. They've trailed in both of their games this weekend, and Hemphill hits this one high and along the left field line and just foul. We'll welcome in everybody to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Those of you who just saw the Florida Gators punch their ticket to the Super Regional round. Alabama, the number 8 overall seed, looking to do the same here today. They need to win against Arizona State in order to advance. 39 straight regional wins for this Crimson Tide team. A program that has done a whole lot under Patrick Murphy, their head coach. 21 seasons at the helm. Won a natty back in 2012, the first for SEC programs. And Bailey Hemphill in a situation where she can get the crowd into that. They're already involved, they're already invested. But Alabama can jump on the board first with Alyssa Brown at second base after her leadoff single. And the walk to Hemphill.
The best part about that play was that Alyssa Brown caught the Arizona State defense sleeping and picked up a stolen base. Now on third, 60 feet closer to scoring in the first inning. I mean, Maddie Hackbarth behind the plate gives that up and doesn't even look over to third. Not a lot of communication on defense.
Brown with 46 stolen bases. That's her 4th of the weekend after Alabama did not steal a base on Arizona State in yesterday's game.
Alabama decided to move Skylar Wallace into the 5 spot today to follow up Bailey Hemphill with Schroeder yesterday. Coach Murphy trying to mix up the lineup, give a little bit more protection to Bailey Hemphill.
Well, this is a freshman who's just kind of got that clutch gene. We saw her do it in the SEC tournament, the walk-off home run in the win against Georgia in extra innings to help them advance to the semis. And popped up. And that will end the threat. 1 hit, 2 runners left on base, no runs pushed across as we move to the bottom of the first. Regionals presented by Capital One. And as we take a look at this bracket, you'll see at the bottom half, Alabama, if they are able to advance, will go on to square off against either Houston or Texas. And of course, if you go beyond the Super Regionals, you could have a date with either Oklahoma or Northwestern, as there's a 3-headed trio in the circle for Alabama, and it starts with Crystal Goodman.
Yeah, this was like a 3-game series for the Tide this weekend. Crystal Goodman got the start against Alabama State, and then Montana Faust, the freshman, got game 2 against Arizona State yesterday, and Sarah Cornell is going to finish it. The SEC Pitcher of the Year, a very different look than the other two. A good opportunity to pick up her 21st win of the season.
Transferred in from Hofstra and has made a huge impact in the circle for the Tide. 21 wins on the season.
And pick up her 22nd, but she throws in the mid to upper 60s. She's aggressive. She attacks hitters with a rise ball and a screwball.
And first pitch swinging from Morgan Howe as we take a look at the Arizona State starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One. A couple of Sun Devils. We talk about their potent offense, slugging 1,000 for the weekend, and Kendra Hackbarth in the 3 spot, and Yanita Acuna, who is the designated player, in the 7 hole. They were able to jump on the board first via a Hackbarth 2-run homer yesterday, as that one hits Skylar McCarty in the helmet, and she will take first base. So McCarty appears to be okay, and now Hackbarth standing in as you take a look at yesterday, what she was able to do off of Montana Founts.
Yeah, this was in the first inning. Takes a drop ball to just about dead center. Starts this game off with a bang. She's a talented hitter, has the opportunity to not only hit good pitches out of the park, but pitchers' pitches that are questionable, just like that one you saw.
Hackbarth, the junior out of Oakdale, California, has her twin sister, Maddie Hackbarth, who's in the hole. And we saw Kendra grabbing her shoulder after a dive into second base in last night's game against Lipscomb. The question was, would she be okay? She finished out the game, and she's back here ready to contribute for her team once again.
A scary moment yesterday for Kendra Hackbarth. She tried to steal second, got thrown out, but in the process, touched up her left shoulder a little bit. She's left-handed. She throws left-handed, plays in right field. Got some ice after the game, and we heard from her coach a little bit. At this point in the season, duct tape, zip ties, whatever you can to keep yourself together and get in there and play.
The 0-2 to Hackbarth. Well, she's meant so much to this team, and you talk about the trio of pitchers. Sister Maddie is watching on, wanting a chance to get an AB in this inning. And Hackbarth flies out to left. Maddie Hackbarth still searching for her first hit of this regional. Jade Gore-Torres, on the other hand, has gone 500 over the weekend. Hit that go-ahead home run yesterday or was it Friday? It was Friday against Lipscomb to give them the win over the Lady Bisons. Torres is knocked in 4.
Yeah, and she was rewarded by getting to move up to the 4th spot in the lineup after her performance in Game 1. She was the difference maker in their 2 wins this weekend against Lipscomb. For a while, it looked like in both games there was a pitcher's duel, and she picked up the RBI when they needed to get the momentum going offensively.
McCarty taking off, going down to second base, and Reagan Dykes has done it so difficult from her position. That's a career school record for catching runners trying to steal, 45 over her career.
Reagan Dykes getting the crowd fired up, throwing out Skylar McCarty from her knees, and puts the throw on the money to get the Tide out of the inning.
World Series. Journey planned for all year long. The destination, the Champ Series in Oklahoma City. It's on the hill, the walk-off. 297 teams started out the season with a dream, 64 will actually get to do it.
Let's get it, and only 8 will make it to OKC. Follow us all the way to the Women's College World Series. My partner Caleb Bro has been there several times over, able to win it with the Crimson Tide back in 2012. And Reagan Dykes, who has kind of had an up and down weekend, if you will, behind the dish, so experienced. We saw her there in the top half, or excuse me, that last inning, being able to set herself apart and put herself in the record books as the best to be able to catch runners stealing 45, surpassing rather, Kendall Dawson. And we saw Dykes make a miscue yesterday behind the dish and came back and was able to get a good hit there, though she flies out to center.
A good redemption swing for her with the home run yesterday. But this Alabama team can't go much longer only hitting pop-ups. Every single out's been a pop-up today. 14 flyouts in yesterday's game. That's too many, and that shows that this team isn't willing to take a risk and adjust. We saw what happened when Alyssa Brown put the ball on the ground. Good things happen. He had an opportunity early in the game to score her from second with no outs, making it too easy on the Arizona State defense.
Maddie Morgan puts this one in the air, and in your opinion, obviously, you know hitting just as well as anybody else. Is it just moving up in the box? Is it a matter of timing? What is it?
I think it's a couple things. Number one, Cielo Mesa's pitches are going to have a little bit of a bite up right at the end. So clearly, you know, for the hitters, they think they're hitting middle of the ball, but they're swinging under. So you have to adjust for that, and whether it's moving up in the box, whether it's holding your hands higher when you start your swing, whatever it is, or consciously making the decision, hey, I'm going to go up and hit a ground ball. Kind of tricking your mind to try and, you know, chop at it a little bit more, or just do something different. And it's hard to buy into that sometimes. The wind's blowing out. You want to get this crowd fired up. You want to hit the long ball. You got to do the little things first.
2 outs, and Claire Jenkins stands in, and she's one of the power hitters for this group, but has yet to find a hit this weekend. She got a 2-0 count. The pitch from Mesa. And the walk to Claire Jenkins, her 3rd of regional play. And so we saw that last inning with Mesa, who had 2 outs, and then walked Bailey Hempel. Does the same here with Claire Jenkins in the 2nd. Mary Schroeder out of Houston, Texas, had an RBI single yesterday against the Sun Devils. Hit and run is on, and Schroeder flies it out to right. Nothing doing as we move to the bottom of the 2nd. Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. The famed taco versus hot sauce race, and this one was really close. You got to watch this finish here, as holding tight to that lead was Taco, and just able to stretch over the foul line. It's tied this weekend, as we've been keeping pace with this. Caleb, you're a Taco fan.
I'm a Taco fan. She should have just kept her head down and kept running. She kept looking back. She was slowing down, worried about who's breathing down her neck behind her. Hot sauce.
We'll see if the red-hot Jade Gortorres can continue that over this weekend. She was up to bat before Skylar McCarty was thrown out trying to steal at second base. So Gortorres will get it again. First pitch swinging and flies out. Mary Schroeder is there.
The outs in the air just continue for both of these teams. When you're facing two pitchers that like to throw the ball up in the zone, have that little sharp break up, kind of overtrain your barrel to hit maybe the middle to top back half of the ball rather than trying to, hit something in the air or something on the line, try to hit something on the ground.
All but one out in this game have come in the air. The other one was caught stealing. So now Maddie Hackbarth, the home run leader for Arizona State, is looking for her first hit of the weekend. And in talking with the fraternal twins, there is a nice little competitive edge that both of them have. I think Kendra maybe a little bit more, but Maddie was just like, I'm 2 minutes older than you, so I'm going to continue to lead by example.
That 2 minutes equate to 2 more home runs or what?
Yeah. Well done, partner. Well done. I like that tie. When we talk about the Hackbarth twins, there are their parents right there, Paul and Mary Hackbarth, who made the trip. And watching their daughters compete at an incredibly high level, hoping that the Sun Devils can push this to a Game 7 for the weekend. These two played at Fresno State under Tricia Ford before coming over and following their coach, and they wanted to play together. That one on the inside part of the plate, it's called ball 4. And the walk to Maddie Hackbarth.
It's good at bat by Maddie Hackbarth, being patient at the plate. This ball is a little bit too inside as Reagan Dykes tries to frame it tight on the plate. Look to be more closer to the chalk line in the batter's box.
So Hackbarth aboard. Kiara Kennedy, the sophomore third baseman, now at the plate. Out of Phoenix, Arizona. The solo home run Friday. And Cornell and Hemphill having a quick conversation. We heard from Coach Murphy yesterday just about how Bailey Hemphill has been a nice coach on the field and in the dugout, and he asked, hey, should I bring Caroline Hardy in? He said, yeah. Came in, pitch it, cleared the bases with a double. Here trying to calm Sarah Cornell.
And this is a big moment for Sarah Cornell. This is her first opportunity to pitch in a regional game here in Tuscaloosa. Game 3. Last year when she was at Hofstra, she got to pitch in the regional against South Carolina, but had pitched in quite a few games, was really carrying the Hofstra team through that. Almost upset South Carolina in Columbia. A lot different of a look this year, though.
How about the Gamecocks once more in the Tallahassee Regional against Florida State? Last I looked, they were up 6-5. As I'm being told by our producer, James Davidson, Florida State has come back and they currently have a 7-6 lead over South Carolina. I'll tell you, the SEC teams have done well thus far during the tournament.
little bit low in the zone. And Sarah Cornell, you got to put that in the back of your head and saying, hey, this pitch was close, but I didn't get the call. So you make sure the next time you bring it up a little bit, just enough to either get the call or to get a swing and a miss, or a swing and a miss hit for sure.
Chris Drum behind the plate. Robbie Guest at first. Ron Alexander at second. David Irwin over at third. 4-person umpiring crew for the NCAA tournament. And Kennedy just gets a piece of that one, fouls it back. I'm just told that score went final 7-6. Florida State, the defending national champions, advance on to the Super Regional. So another SEC team bows out. We saw A&M and Arkansas go down as well. Tennessee pushed to the second game today. Kentucky over, currently leading Virginia Tech.
This is a good at-bat by Kiara Kennedy right here. That was the difference early in this game. The first inning, only 8 pitches for Sarah Cornell. Now they're making her work a little bit. Took a walk already, trying to foul some stuff off and see what she's throwing. And that's that same pitch that wasn't called a few pitches ago, and a great take by Kiara Kennedy to make sure she doesn't swing at that. Sarah Cornell trying to pound the lower half of the zone, right on the outside corner. But again, not quite high enough to even induce the effort to make a swing, and this gives the opportunity for Stephanie Van Brakel, the pitching coach, to go out and have a conversation and talk about what their plan is, what the focus needs to be, and how they can make the best appearance in the circle possible.
In her 8th season as the pitching coach here at Alabama. Also played here and had a stellar career as well. And so now Sarah Cornell with 2 aboard and 1 out. And Yanita Acuna at the plate. We saw this a little bit from Montana Fats on yesterday as well, just kind of trying to find a way to settle in. Sometimes you got to get out those nerves. And you've watched for the previous 2 games. Now it's your time to go in, and sometimes you got to work through some things.
Absolutely, and Sarah Cornell is definitely getting a little bit more of a reprieve than Montana Fouts did. Arizona State jumped all over Fouts in game 1, really aggressive at the plate, had a good game plan, attacked her lower pitch as well, and then later in the game she had to make some adjustments. Had to move a little bit more up in the zone, had to work in the rise ball a little bit more often than she would have, and then she finally got some swing and misses on her curve and her screw that go in and out.
Acuna, who's been slugging well all weekend long, 1,000 on the weekend, has a couple of doubles, and here a base hit to load him for Danae Chapman. So the threat early on from Arizona State. Kennedy at second. You see Acuna over at first base, and Maddie Hackbarth got aboard with the walk. She's at third.
Now all of a sudden you're looking at a difficult situation for Sarah Cornell, and it's because of giving up the walks.
2 in this inning alone. The pitch to Chapman. Chapman, who's struggled this weekend, but has a chance to help her team break through. One in there for a strike, coming in at 66 miles per hour. Fouts looking on as her teammate Cornell in a big situation early here against Arizona State.
Sarah Cornell needs to make sure that she gets ahead in the count early, because what makes her effective is she's got a really good screwball that tries to jam righties that you just saw that she pitched against Danae Chapman, but you can't throw that pitch unless you hit the outside corner for a strike.
The 1-2. And it's ball 2.
If you're a pitcher, you want that.
Cornell still trying to figure out that zone.
It's a tough pitch to take, too. Screwball on the inside. It's kind of breaking on that corner and biting a little bit harder in. On the other side, I guess it's a good take for Danae Chapman. It's going to have to be smart.
Tight zone early on from Chris Drum behind the plate. Trisha Ford looking on. The 2-2. Chapman pulls his foul. Arizona State out of the Pac-12, averaging 7.5 runs a game. Again, foul back once more. So a good at bat for Danae Chapman, who's 3 of 6 with the bases loaded this season.
Arizona State team is doing a really nice job of battling in the box, though. After the first inning, they were a little bit aggressive early. Again, quick inning for Cornell. Now they're really challenging her, fouling off a lot of good pitches.
And gets Danae Chapman swinging. Baited her on the outside corner, going chasing is Chapman, and she's retired.
Cornell setting her up inside, going hard in over and over again. And then to mix it up on the chase pitch on the outside corner, and there's no way with where that pitch is located, Danae Chapman's going to be able to put that one in play. And a big comeback pitch for Sarah Cornell.
You were spot on, Kayla, at the fact that 8 pitches thrown in total in the first inning, and then 8 and that at bat for Danae Chapman. Bella Loomis now the 9-hole hitter for the Sun Devils. With an 0-2 count. There's her dad, Scott Loomis, who made the drive from Phoenix. 22.5 hours. They left on Tuesday, made it here, and wanting his daughter to come through in a clutch moment. Crowd gets into it. Loomis, who was 2 for 9 in the regional, drove in a couple last night off a single, as the Sun Devils were able to put up 10 over Lipscomb. And what was really a pitcher's duel. We were about 5.
It's a good take by Bella Loomis. Knowing and recognizing that outside pitch is a little bit too high after you foul off a couple on that outside corner. Now you got to be prepared for in or out, because that's where Sarah Cornell's bread and butter is mixing on that in and out part of the plate.
You feel the tension for both sides. Dad Scott's hoping his daughter comes through. Bella Loomis in a big moment. Then you got Sarah Cornell on the other side for Alabama, trying to get out of this jam. after starting out with 2 strikes, throwing 3 straight balls, and another good battle here from the bottom of the order. These Arizona State batters remaining patient.
And the challenge is that runners are going to be going on the pitch. Defense has got to make sure they get the clean out at first base.
Goes up, swings, and flies out to center. Sarah Cornell and the Alabama defense getting out of the jam. Bases loaded. Arizona State not able to do anything with it. Oats House, Caleb Rowe, Tiffany Green with you, and we're all knotted at 3 as we head to the top of the 3rd. Alyssa Brown, the only player for Alabama able to get on base with a single. Outside of that, a couple of base on balls, and see that 6 flyouts, and that's something that you've continued to mention not only today but throughout the weekend.
Yeah, it's just too easy for the defense right now to get Alabama out, and Alyssa Brown started off the game with a single. She stole second, so you had a runner on second with no outs, and then you get 2 pop-outs, a walk, and then another pop-out.
They had 3 left on base in that first inning.
And it may have been uncharacteristic, but what we saw in game 1 against these 2 was that Arizona State made a couple costly errors on the infield.
Correction, was the first 2 innings. Another high hopper from Brown, and once more leading it off with a base hit.
Alyssa Brown has just been money in the leadoff spot. This is what you do when you have speed. All she does is hit the top half of the ball, good control. As soon as she hits the ball, she gets that trajectory, gets out of the box and down the line quickly. It's just too easy. Too easy. It's what you do with speed.
And we saw her really struggle for the last part of the season against LSU and then the SEC tournament as diving for that one, and Skylar McCarty cannot get to it. But, you know, as a slapper in the out-of-the-box rule, she was called out several times, but she has made the adjustment and tweak, and again has been a spark plug for the Tide in this regional play.
Well, we saw in the SEC tournament that she was hitting more of the middle of the ball, so it was creating, you know, an easy, hard one-hopper right to the infielders. Now she's getting more top half of the ball, and when you hit the top half with all of that spin, if it goes straight down and comes back up, you're creating hang time, and then you get down the line quickly. And it's a small adjustment, but it goes a long way. And even Jade Gortares is one of the best shortstops that you're going to see, and she can't do anything about it, and that's so frustrating for a defense.
Be smart. Come on, KB. Be smart. Out front. Now give it.
Sides puts that one in the air, and 1 away.
And, you know, for KB Sides, you're a 2-hole hitter. Your job is to move Alyssa Brown over. You have to hit that ball on the ground. There's no excuse for popping out the center. You got to get a slap down or a bunt down, something early. Because Kaylee Tao, even if she misses, she's still got a chance to hit the ball out of the park.
Tao popped out to short back in the first.
Come on, Kelly. Line drive.
Brown going again. This time, she's thrown out. Just the 5th time this season that Alyssa Brown has been thrown out, and Maddie Hackbarth delivers it.
On the changeup, too, an off-speed pitch. The perfect time to go for Alyssa Brown, but the difference is that this throw is right on second base. Gets rid of it quickly, puts the tag on, and a good quick tag by Gortares.
So now 2 out for Tao, and Alabama has gotten their leadoff hitter on 2 of the last 3 innings. but not able to produce a run.
And going back to KB's sides at bat, if you maybe get the bunt down or you try and get a slap down, Alyssa Brown doesn't have to steal because all eyes are on Brown at this point. And Maddie Hackbarth did a great job of putting a better throw down the line to get her this time. But if you hit the ball and you move her and you do your job as the two-hole hitter, you don't have to worry about that.
And Tao strikes out. Cielo Meza moving to the bottom of the third, still scoreless.
We welcome you to Clearwater. The amount of great matchups and great teams here.
Good piece of hitting here.
It is gone!
Spectacular matchups all weekend here.
To the track! It is caught! What a catch! Are you serious? A magical couple of days. What an incredible event.
It's coming your way next February, and Alabama is one of the teams that we will see at the St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational presented by Wilson. Here is the field thus far and all the way to the Women's College World Series. We will continue to unveil that 16-team field. A lot of excitement, a lot of juice. Look, we were there, Kayla, and we got a chance to see a great crowd. Several folks came out. It was sold out, much like this Rhodes House crew with sold-out tickets in about 90 minutes for the regionals.
Coast to coast, people love softball. Clearwater tournament was an awesome opportunity to see some of these big-time teams early in the year on a neutral site.
Well, it's something that you've continued to mention throughout this game about how players are getting out on both sides. And look, 11 flyouts, 2 caught stealing, and a couple of strikeouts.
You gotta get the feeling they're just gonna match each other. Hey, you want to strike out? We'll get a strikeout. You want to pop up? We'll pop up. Caught stealing? Why not? Let's go. Very evenly matched game. It's definitely not a pretty way to get there, honestly. And, the difference between games 1 and game 2, obviously Montana Fouts is a different pitcher. Doesn't throw as much up in the air, or up in the zone, excuse me. But early in the games, saw both of these teams do a much better job of good quality run production.
As we mentioned, Arizona State averaging just about 8 runs a game, and Morgan Howe with the leadoff single. And there's Fouts already in the bullpen just in case she's needed, warming up that arm. SEC Freshman of the Year and a top 10 finalist for National Freshman of the Year. McCarty puts this into play. So back-to-back singles for Arizona State to lead off the bottom half of the third.
2 different looks too. Morgan Howe pulled one. And then Skylar McCarty looks middled out and pops it into left field.
Being able to communicate with your teammates about what you're seeing, especially if you've gone through the order once, has been important for Arizona State. And the Sun Devils have been passing along that information and making some changes where needed.
And finally, we saw 2 line drives. So just staying more on plane, trying to simplify, not trying to overswing. And that's something you try and hit the ball really hard out of the park, elevate it, and you miss a little bit. It's an easy pop-up. Both of those hitters just did a good job of staying on plane and staying through the ball at a more plain level.
And Dykes trying to get Howe, and she does. Well, heads-up play from the savvy senior behind the dish.
The catchers in this game are stepping up in a big way. Reagan Dykes is making her presence known. On a pitch out, pick off, thrown from her knees, and Skylar Wallace there to put a good tag on Howe and take a runner out of scoring position for Arizona State. And she's getting an aggressive lead, and she's trying to get back quickly, but that's something that we've seen Reagan Dykes look for all weekend long, as she's been watching those runners, and she knows if they get too big of a jump that she's going to be able to pick them.
And we saw Morgan Howe go back to the dugout as she was a little out of sorts. Something was uncomfortable. She may have slid back into the base, and perhaps when she was tagged, may have landed awkwardly. It was a rough slide for her, I think. See here?
Yeah, it just runs into Skylar Wallace. Just an awkward play at second.
So they're looking the right side of her, and we saw the same happen with Kendra Hackbarth when she was going down the second base yesterday and awkwardly sliding and may have tweaked her left shoulder.
You know, for the other side, for Morgan Howard, you can't do that. You can't get picked off in scoring position with Kendra Hackbarth up to plate. There's no excuse for that. She's too good of a hitter to take a runner out of scoring position, and if she hits a long ball, one run makes a big difference. And you know, like we've said, Reagan Dykes has shown that she's going to try and pick runners off. She did it a couple times in their game, attempted to, or at least showed a look of it. Tried to pick it off in the Alabama State game. So she's there.
And we saw this yesterday in the matchup between Alabama and Arizona State, and the fact that it wasn't the cleanest of games, but there were certainly some sparks flying on both sides. Players stepping up and making plays in big moments. Full count to Hackbarth. And she flies out to left, and McCarty trots back to first, 2 down.
That screwball working for Sarah Cornell. Just enough bite off the end of the bat to induce a lazy fly out for Kendra Hackbarth, and that's a big out right there, especially with full count. Sarah Cornell in this game has really stepped up when she's had to pitch in big moments. Dug herself out of a hole and got a little help from Reagan Dykes to dig herself out of a hole. Zone continues to be tight today.
Oh, man.
It's a good-looking pitch.
Yeah.
It's a little low, maybe. Maybe.
Let's go, infield.
Sarah Cornell only thrown 7 out of 14 first pitch strikes to the Arizona State hitters today. We talked about it a little bit earlier. She's effective when she gets ahead because she's got really good movement that has a good bite. But because of that bite, something that starts maybe on the outside corner of the plate will end up in the river or in the other batter's box.
Leaves this one out over the plate, going back to the wall, and it's gone! Over the left field wall, Jade Gortarez with a full count. And knocks that one out of the park.
And that ball just kept carrying. Off the bat, it looks like Mara Schroeder was going to be able to track it down in left field. But Jade Gortarez gets just enough of it to get this ball out of the park. It's a screwball, and she opens up her front side to be able to get to this ball quickly and efficiently. And Mara Schroeder looks like she's going to have it, and that ball keeps flying out. The wind is definitely blowing out towards left field, and that ball is elevated enough that she gets a little help, and gets 2 big runs on the board for Arizona State. And that's something we've seen out of Jade Gortars. Her other home run in this tournament was the same thing. She backed off, knew she was looking inside, opened up to her front side, and turned on it.
6 home runs on the season, 2 this weekend, 12-game hitting streak, and once more, Gortars coming through with a huge hit. Now that lifts Arizona State. And instead of Sarah Cornell getting out of the inning, she surrendered a couple of runs. And Gortars, she's a gamer.
She's an absolute gamer, and there's been so many times this weekend where you felt like, oh, this game's evenly matched. Nobody stepped up, and Jade Gortars is the one that does that.
I think that was one of the intriguing elements, was the pitching of Alabama versus the home run hitting of Arizona State. And the long ball aided the Sun Devils in the third. They're up by 2. We'll talk with Alabama's head coach on the other side. Two nothing advantage for Arizona State as Patrick Murphy, the Alabama head coach, joining us now. And Coach, your team has come from behind in the last couple of games. How are they going to fight back after Alyssa Brown gets on base a couple times, but how are you going to produce some runs?
Yeah, we're gonna keep fighting, and we need to just have better at bats right now. We have way too many pop-ups, easy pop-ups. She's been on twice, or Alyssa's been on base twice to start an inning, and we didn't do much behind her. So need to have more solid contact and maybe pick a better pitch every now and then.
Coach, how would you assess the performance of Sarah Cornell getting her first start in the regionals this weekend?
If the last inning, it was really getting ahead of that one, the shortstop, Jade. I think she was down 2-0, and you got to get ahead of hitters, and they have way too many good hitters in that lineup. When she got out of the jam the inning before, which was a good job, but you can't give them too many chances, and the freebies she's got to eliminate. But getting ahead of the batters, and then the 1-2 count, that next pitch needs to be a better pitch. We can't go 2-2, can't go 3-2, but the 1-2 pitch needs to be a really, really good pitch.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, you guys.
And she's getting stretched out by the trainers in between. As Cornell searching for the 22nd win of the season already. You see the activity with both Fouts and now Crystal Goodman up in the bullpen. Middle of the order up with Hemphill, Wallace, and Dykes.
We talked about that Jade Gortars home run being carried out. The wind is blowing straight out to left field. Something that the outfielders are going to have to keep track of and make sure that they're ready to adjust and keep reading the wind and keep reading the movement off the ball, because as we've seen, Alabama's hit a lot in the air, but there you go, not in the air, you get a base hit. Bailey Hemphill once again shifts on. They're playing really deep, and she hits it hard enough to get it out of the infield anyway.
Punches it through the 5-6 hole, and a pinch runner coming in for her is Chloe Anderson at first base. Well, that extends Hemphill's on-base streak 34, going back to that walk in the first, and it's tied with the All-American Haley McClinney for third best in program history. And Wallace, kind of a check swing there. Whether she meant to or not, moves the runner over to second base.
You know what the reality situation, I know Skylar Wallace probably wants that swing back, but she did her job. She moved the runner. Now you have somebody in scoring position to try and chip away at this lead that Arizona State's created. And again, interesting that they decided not to sacrifice bunt in that situation as well.
Reagan Dykes trying to lift this one in the air. And into foul territory, McCarty is there to collect the second out. The first pitch swinging for Reagan Dykes. Another fly out. Maddie Morgan looks at a strike. Alabama puts up about 6 runs a game and kind of gotten off to some slow starts as Gortares is there for the pop out to end the inning. We'll see if they can get some momentum right now. It's all Arizona State, and we'll talk to their head coach when we return. A 2-0 lead after the Jay Gortares home run as we're joined by the Sun Devils head coach Tricia Ford. And Coach, you decided to go with Ciela Meza making her 3rd start this weekend. What have you liked about her stuff today?
I think she's been nice and relaxed and just spinning the heck out of the ball right now. So they're making them just miss, and that's your job as a pitcher.
Coach, Jade Gortares has had a heck of a weekend. What's been her approach at the plate that's made her so successful?
She's just balling out, honestly. She's just enjoying this. That kid loves to play ball. She's a stud. So we just let her play the game, and she just really enjoys it.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Forks up.
Arizona State, who finished 4th in the Pac-12, and let's look at what's happening in the Arizona State dugout, staying loose. How about Ciela Meza picking up a little juggling act? We heard about Maddie Hackbarth doing that to try to remain calm and loose. Maybe she's passed that on to her teammate.
Yeah, I think Coach Ford says some frontal lobe activity. It's different than the part of the brain that you use to hit, so it really separates yourself from what you're doing on the field.
And still getting some practice in there. As Arizona State is looking to push this to a Game 7 over this weekend. Chance to stay alive. The winner of the regional final will go on to the Super Regionals. Alabama has won 39 straight in regional play. If you're Arizona State, you've made the trip from Tempe, Arizona, and you had to come out of the losers bracket and face off against the national seeded Alabama Crimson Tide, putting up a good fight, and Jay Gortares has definitely helped.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this is an Arizona State team that's relied on their offense all season long to be successful, and they are getting a pitching gem out of Ciela Meza that has allowed them to be ahead in a close game so far up until the 4th inning.
Strike her out, Sarah.
I think that's the interesting part, because that was perhaps the concern. You knew you were relying on your offense. Just what would you get out of the circle? And Meza has risen to the occasion thus far. Meanwhile, Cornell behind in the count, 3-1 to Kiara Kennedy. And walks her. Well, the Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. The action begins Thursday, May 30th at noon Eastern, live on ESPN. For more information on the 2019 Women's College World Series, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. And just a quick look at the bracket and how it will shake out.
Alabama trying to make it to the Super Regional. They've done so every time since 2005 when the Super Regional format was instituted. They would face off against either Houston or Texas. And then, of course, Oklahoma, who has been just absolutely unbelievable. 41 straight wins. They're currently ahead today. 1-0 over Wisconsin. And just during that stretch, Oklahoma has just looked unstoppable.
Come on, Sarah. You can do it. Believe in
We saw
yourself.
a combined perfect game, another no-hitter yesterday.
They did give up 2 hits today, though, so
okay.
watch
All
out,
right.
Tiffany.
Oh, boy.
No, they've been on a roll. It's been incredible to see the dominance. And they kind of flew under the radar a little bit at the beginning of the season, and then you go on a big winning streak during Big 12 play, and then all of a sudden here you are at the top of the rankings and looking sharper than you have all year. I mean, during that 41-game streak, are you kidding me? 83 home runs, only 37. Yeah, like double the amount of home runs hit than you do have runs allowed. 4 no-hitters, 3 perfect games. I mean, it's been impressive what they've been able to put together.
4 national titles. Patty Gasso looking for another, and look, she's got another All-American in the circle cycled through. Is G. Juarez, who transferred from Arizona State. Now the ace for the Sooners.
I think without a doubt, they're the team to beat, too, right now.
And right now, Arizona State says, Alabama, you're the team to beat if we want to force a Game 7 and keep our postseason hopes alive. Fouled off by Acuna. Well, this is a tough Arizona State team, again, who fought week in and week out during Pac-12 play, hit a little midseason lull, faced off against some of the conference powers in Arizona, Washington, and UCLA, and then finished out the regular season strong, winning 8 of their last 9 coming into regional play. And Reagan Dykes trying to pick off another Arizona State player. She's already got a pick off and a caught stealing, and Kennedy better have a heads up, as Dykes is always on the lookout.
No kidding. The whole team better be heads up now when they get on the bases. Got to be ready for that. And this has been a big deal in this game, is that Reagan Dykes has really helped out Sarah Cornell in tough situations.
This one traveling into right field, and KB Sides is there. This Arizona State program has a couple of national titles to its name. Last one coming back in 2011, first in 2008. They are the last Pac-12 team to actually win it all in OKC.
Pac-12 was strong this year. Arizona State coming in 4th. UCLA with Rachel Garcia in the National Player of the Year last year.
She's up for it again once more this year.
And you add Washington to that, Arizona, another huge home run hitting team out of the Pac-12. I mean, they got put through the gauntlet of a really tough 3 weeks where they played UCLA, Washington, and Arizona in back-to-back-to-back weekends. Dropped all 9 of those games, but learned a lot from those experiences and playing against some of the best pitchers in the country.
I tell you, the ball can fly in the desert. It was Arizona State who came in to the tournament with 83 home runs on the year. And they've been able to cut through the humidity and get out of the park here at Rhodes Stadium this weekend. Danae Chapman. Now 3 balls and a strike.
So far in this game, Arizona State's done a much better job of controlling the zone, understanding that the umpire is tight today behind the plate. And then on the other side of that, you know, Alabama coming in was one of the best teams in the entire country in terms of taking walks. Have 300 walks on the year compared to Arizona State's 200 walks coming into today. That's 100 more walks. However, Arizona State looking much more patient, having much more quality at bats, fouling off a little bit more. Alabama's created some quick innings for themselves, especially putting the ball in the air. And you can feel that the energy's a little bit sucked out of the stadium here because there hasn't been any real action other than Alyssa Brown and the one Bailey Hemphill hit. Everything else has been pop-ups.
And the SEC Pitcher of the Year, Sarah Cornell, is being tested by the Sun Devils. She's gotten behind in a lot of counts today. And then walks yet another batter. Danae Chapman will take first base. That's the 4th walk given up by Cornell.
Crowd upset after this one, but I think this was a ball a little bit too tight on the hands of Danae Chapman. And that's when you want back from Sarah Cornell, just because Danae Chapman hasn't gotten a hit yet in this weekend.
You got to figure out what the headspace is like for Cornell now with 1 out, 2 on. And Arizona State looking to turn over their order, and what a nice diving stop by Claire Jenkins, tossing it out of the glove over to Skylar Wallace. Nice effort from the shortstop.
You got to take a dive to save a run in this situation if you're Claire Jenkins. Does everything that she can to keep this ball from leaving the infield, because you know they're going to potentially try and send Kiara Kennedy from second. Getting the out at second base and making sure you keep another runner out of scoring position.
For as much as I feel like Reagan Dykes making a big play, a couple of big plays behind the plate, that may be even more important if Alabama can keep it to just a 2-run spread.
It's going to be a tough out right here. Morgan Howe is not only a high average kind of player at 394 coming into today, but 58 RBIs. It leads the team. The leadoff hitter leading the team in RBIs. The senior knows what's at stake in this situation. He's playing for one more game today.
Reached base in the last 14 games, has a single, and this one is driven to right field and over the wall. Add some more runs batted in for Morgan Howe. And the 2 walks given up by Cornell come back to bite her as the 12th home run for Morgan Howe.
Got that clutch gene, and she's a senior that knows they have to win this game to keep her career alive. And with the opportunity to come through for her team, she does just that on an inside pitch thrown by Sarah Cornell and drives this one through the wind and out of the park.
6th home run of this regional for Arizona State. They have lived by the long ball all season long. It's no different here.
Yeah, it's going to be the end of the day for Sarah Cornell. There's gotten into some trouble not being able to get ahead of batters. Let's see Crystal Goodman.
We'll step aside, come back with us to the Rhodes House. in the circle now for Alabama. The JUCO transfer coming over. She got the start in the first game for the Crimson Tide against Alabama State, going 5 2/3 inning.
At this point in the game, Crystal Goodman offers a much different look than Sarah Cornell. She throws hard still in the upper 60s, but she's got a really heavy drop ball and a changeup, which Cornell does not have. She's going to have to get batters guessing with the velocity drop. And if she wants to be successful, she's got to hit the changeup for a strike and work around that tight zone.
So not the predicament that Alabama hoped to find themselves in, but Morgan Howe came ready to play along with the Sun Devils. And Sarah Cornell, who just didn't have her best stuff today and got touched up by the Sun Devils, 3 2/3 inning. Gave it 5 hits, 5 earned runs. It's the most earned runs given up all season.
And she dug herself too many holes. I think this is the best hitting team that Alabama's faced in the last few weeks. And they were challenged. And even for somebody like Montana Fouts, who struggled early in the game yesterday, had to find ways to work around this strong offense. And their strong 1 through 9 is the Alabama faithful are upset about this changeup call. It's not a strike. A lot of frustration here at the Rhodes House.
Well, it's a very tight zone, as we've seen today. Some really close calls. And that's just how it is sometimes.
That's right. You got to figure it out. And ask any pitcher that. You can't control the strike zone, but you can only control how you respond to the zone.
That one got away from Goodman, hits McCarty, and she'll go to first.
Welcome into the Rhodes House if you're just tuning in, and I'm delighted to sit next to Kayla Bro. Tiffany Green here with you from Tuscaloosa. Regional final between Arizona State, who's up by 5 over the 8th overall seed, in Alabama. The Crimson Tide have won 39 straight. That's the longest ever winning streak in regional play, but that is in jeopardy as the Sun Devils have come out swinging. 2 runs last inning off a Jade Gortárez home run. 3 more here off the bat of Morgan Howe. And Tricia Ford sees her group trying to force a winner-take-all Game 7. That would come up after this game concludes, about just 30 minutes after. Hackbarth is known for her power this season. Actually came into the program as a slapper, tried to lay down the bunt there. Parents Paul and Mary looking on. They've got to be pleased as they made the trip from Tempe, Arizona. And they want to see some more softball. They were with the group last year as they hosted regionals and super regionals, went all the way to the Women's College World Series as the 8th seed, before bowing out to Oregon and Oklahoma.
Come on, don't give up.
Twin sister Maddie standing next to Coach Ford. we've seen the power of Arizona State, obviously, today. Getting a little extra assistance by way of the wind that's blowing out. But that's what happened in their first game against Lipscomb. 3 of their 4 runs came via the home run.
And the biggest difference in that game is they had 3 solo shots. They've had runners on base when they've hit their 2 home runs today, which is why this 5 runs is a big deal, and especially when you're playing an Alabama team that scored 7 on your pitching staff yesterday. You better bring it. It's a beautiful block by Reagan Dykes back there. The senior's having a day. Working hard for her pitching staff, and she's a leader for this team. She's a captain. She's going to be one of those players that needs to make sure that they make some adjustments if they want to stay in this ballgame.
And the walk to Hackbarth. Just a rough afternoon for this Alabama pitching staff, who's really been stellar all season long. We have the National JUCO Player of the Year, who transferred into the program, along with the SEC Pitcher of the Year, Sarah Cornell, who, again, just wasn't her day. There's still some ball game left, and Alabama is certainly not out of this one, but they have to dig themselves out of this 5-run hole.
And without a doubt, it starts with the free passes, and that sets up opportunities for hitters like Gortares, who got under this ball, but the wind helps it and carries it out. She opens up and turns on an inside pitch thrown by Sarah Cornell. Bad things happen when you give up walks to teams. And it's almost like, you know, a shark that smells blood in the water. You get fired up as a team, you get emotional, you get that energy from the free passes. And on the other side of things, only 2 walks for Alabama.
Way out in front of that one, Gortar is going down, swinging, and Goodman gets out of the inning. But not before Morgan Howe lifts her team to a 5-0 advantage.
The senior coming up big on this swing, creating a 5-run lead for the Sun Devils heading into the 5th.
Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. Fans in the Roadhouse getting stretched out in this 5th inning. Ready for something to happen because Alabama hasn't necessarily helped themselves today.
Yeah, and it's got to be something different. Whatever happens, it can't be pop-outs anymore. I think first and foremost, they do well when they're patient. A big push for Coach Murphy and the team earlier this season was making sure that you can hit pitches that you can crush. Looking at, you know, the middle part of the plate, being patient on the pitches on the corners early in the count, and then fighting with 2 strikes.
You see the intensity and urgency from Kaylee Tao. You feel that from the crowd here. They are waiting for something to happen. For Alabama, The largest come from behind win this season is back on March 8th. They were down by 7 and were able to beat Mizzou 14-8.
Claire Jenkins trying to do a little something different. A drag bunt. She gets hit by it inside the box, so they're going to keep her there. But Alabama's got to find a way to chip away, and they scored 7 runs off of Mesa yesterday, so it's not impossible. It's just going to be difficult.
Well, right now, the junior transfer is having the game of her regional career. And she pitched in it last season with Long Beach State. Here today for Arizona State. 4 innings, 3 hits, no runs given up. So Claire Jenkins putting this one into play, and Kendra Hackbarth is there to track it down.
This Arizona State outfield does a really good job of tracking down. They cover a lot of ground, a lot of speed out there. They take good angles, and they take a lot of pride in the outfield. So, that hit by Claire Jenkins isn't going to do it with the talent that's out there today.
Coach Tricia Ford told her she feels that they are the best outfield in the country all around, at the plate, in the field. Skylar McCarty, Morgan Howe, and Kendra Hackbarth. Mary Schroeder, the 9-hole hitter, flying out to right. Back in the second.
And this time, she hits this one, send it flying over the right field wall. The solo shot for Mary Schroeder. This time she gets all of it. And Alabama is on the board.
Maris Schroeder giving Alabama a little life here in the top of the 5th inning. Seen time and time again, Alabama just miss-hitting the ball over and over again. Maris Schroeder doesn't miss-hit this one at all. Pitch is starting to elevate, but she makes sure that she stays through this long enough. It gets great extension. She got a good lean in her backside to get the angle of this one out of the park.
And the shutout ended for Ciela Meza. Her team still with the lead, but perhaps that's the wake-up call Alabama needed to get them going. Alyssa Brown once more over the head of Jay Gore-Torres, and 3 singles today for Brown.
Alyssa Brown is a straight machine. Jade Gore-Torres has got to be tired of seeing the ball fly over her head at the shortstop position without anything she can do about it. And you can see Alyssa Brown's fired up. She knows she's done her job perfectly today. And this is so important for Alabama, regardless of the score, and regardless if they're not able to come back and potentially win this game, is getting, number one, the crowd back into it and seeing good contact off of Mesa and knowing that your offense can produce. Felt like this team was just lethargic for a few innings, quick outs, not making Mesa work. They're trying to change that right here.
Sides fouls it away once again. 1-2 to KB Sides, and Samantha Mejia, who we've seen come in relief of Mesa in the last 2 games, warming up in the ASU bullpen.
It's another reason to try and push for a couple more runs if you're Alabama's. Again, even if you don't win, if you can get Mejia to pitch to you for a couple innings to see what she's got.
This one a high chopper, and Sides able to beat it out. Close play at first base, and Sides laying out the infield single.
Jade Gortar is a little surprised on that one. It's a close play at first. Once again, you got to use the ground. Good things happen as this ball bounces enough. Jade Gortares fields it a little bit on her backside. Not as quick of a transfer as she needed. And now Coach Ford's going to go have a talk with her defense. This is what you've been waiting for if you're an Alabama fan. You take yourself out of the game. You're a speedy team that has a lot of athleticism, and somebody like KB Sides, if she pops out, you just become uninfluential in the game. You don't put pressure on the defense, and now it just breathes whole new life into the game.
Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing when you look at the body language of the players for Alabama. Not that they were hanging their heads before, but you get the solo shot from Mara Schroeder, your 9-hole hitter, then 2 infield singles from Brown and Sides, and now Smiles, and almost a weight lifted in a sense. Tao now at the plate. Remember, she went long back on Friday.
Yeah, it's Kaylee Tao. You know, she was an All-American last year, has the potential to hit the ball out of the park on a lot of different pitches, and she's a gamer. She is a fighter in the box. She's going to have to be patient, though, and make sure she gets something that she can really tattoo, because you don't want to take a bad cut on a questionable pitch with Alyssa Brown on second.
Fouls that one back, but in this inning, you're seeing Alabama making Mesa work. She expelled 27 pitches over the last 3 innings. Here, she's thrown 18.
It's also important for Kaylee Tao to have a quality at bat, because you have Bailey Hemphill, who's your best hitter on deck. And if she can get up with the bases loaded, they have no choice but to throw to her. She had a good base hit in her last at bat.
You see Tao barely staying alive, continuing to chase the ball low in the zone. Takes that one high, now full count. Fouls it back, and if you're Tao, obviously you want to try to get something to drop. If not, you have the potential to walk,
Simple.
load the
Base
bases.
hit, ball 4. Base hit, ball 4. That's all you need to know.
Continuing to swing away and foul him off.
Ball 4, bases loaded. one of the nation's best home run hitters, comes to the plate. Bailey Hemphill with 22 jacks on the season, and one swing can tie up this ball game. Mia Davidson hit her 26th home run yesterday. Bailey Hemphill tied for third with 4 others. And this one is a shot over the left center wall. Tie ball game, baby! Can you believe it?
Bailey Hemphill, one of the best home run hitters in the country, gets something low in the zone and does what she does best. Simple hitting, hits it out of the park, and ties this thing up. This is the magic of playing in Rhodes Stadium. The walk to Kaylee Tao, and you let your best hitter give you an opportunity to tie this thing up, and she does just that.
Hemphill made for moments just like this. 39 consecutive wins in regional play for this Alabama program. And Bailey Hemphill says, we got life, we got juice, we got swag, we're trying to make it to 40. If Bama can win this one, they would march on to the Super Regionals. They've been every year since 2005 for Arizona State. They're looking to force a Game 7. More to come from the Rhodes House. You don't want to go anywhere, baby. Welcome back in. A pitching change for Arizona State. Samantha Mejia now in the circle for the Sun Devils, as Ciela Meza, who had pitched a terrific game up until this point, held Alabama off the board for 4 innings until now. 5 runs from the Crimson Tide, and Samantha Mejia trying to halt them from getting any more.
It's the first time that Alabama's seen Mejia this game. They're going to have to make some adjustments, a little bit different look. And already having trouble finding the zone 3-0 count to Skylar Wallace. And the biggest difference for Mejia is that she's got a really good changeup. She throws a screw and a curve, but something that this Alabama team hasn't seen is that effective change and off speed.
And the walk to the first batter, she faces
in Skylar Wallace. Ciela Meza, all she can do is watch on. A couple of transfers have had to fill in after 4 players transferred and graduated out of the circle for Arizona State. And Samantha Mejia has been the ace of the staff. Bailey Hemphill, all smiles, 3rd Grand Slam of the season for the senior out of Louisiana.
And there's that off-speed pitch right there for this Alabama team. She's able to throw it early in the count as well with 2 strikes, got good control on it. So making sure that they have that in the back of their minds as they face off against Mejia today.
Reagan Dykes, and it's called foul. So Dykes will come back to the batter's box.
It's Kiara Kennedy trying to field this ball. It's a tough angle to see if that really is fair or foul. It goes off the glove. And a good break for Arizona State regardless if it was fair or foul. That would have put another runner in the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Dykes trying to be the 7th Alabama batter to reach base this inning. Fan nabbing that one out of the air. Inning started off with a fly out from Claire Jenkins, then Mara Schroeder with a solo home run shot. Back-to-back singles from Alyssa Brown and KB Sides. The walk to Kaylee Tao to load the bases. And then Hemphill with the grand slam. And this one is a shot into left, in and out of the glove of Skylar McCarty, and scooting around to third base and halting there is Wallace, the stand-up double for Reagan Dykes.
Alabama already putting a lot of pressure on Mejia as she came into this game. First the walk to Wallace, but then this is a pitch elevated in his zone, but a good level swing from Reagan Dykes to hit it out to Skylar McCarty and off the glove. And although she makes a good read, just not able to hang on to that one. There's 2 more push into scoring position with 1 out still in the top of the 5th.
And look who's coming up. Caroline Hardy, the pinch hit heroics from yesterday. She delivered the bases clearing double to put Alabama on top over the Sun Devils by a final of 5-4. The senior back at it again.
Caroline Hardy got an opportunity yesterday against Arizona State with the bases loaded and come up big time, got the crowd fired up, drove in 3 runs, and what did Alabama win by? 3 runs.
So 5-4, 7-4. Thank you. You back me up like Caroline Hardy backs up her teammates.
And it's tough to be a pinch hitter, but Caroline Hardy has gotten good at it in her senior year. You know, she talks about her and Coach Murphy talk a lot in the dugout, and she's got a really good feel now for when that she might get an opportunity. She gets ready, and she knows when it's going to be her time.
And he consulted with Bailey Hemphill in the dugout, and she came on to pinch hit for Claire Jenkins. She only had 2 pinch hits all season long before yesterday's big shot. Coach Murphy talked about the ultimate teammate and Caroline Hardy. Good things will happen. Put in the work. You wait. That day came for her yesterday. She's been money in postseason, had that RBI from the SEC tournament, then 3 yesterday. 2 for 2 in her last ABs. Puts this one on the ground and it goes foul.
Another exciting day of softball from the Tuscaloosa Regional. Kayla Bro, Tiffany Green here with you from the Rhodes House. This place has gone absolutely nuts after being quiet through the first 4 innings. Arizona State had a 5-0 lead until Alabama unloaded on offense in this inning.
It took a while for Alabama to adjust in the first 4 innings, only 3 hits. This inning in the 5th, 5 hits, 5 runs, and the big grand slam by Bailey Hemphill to knot this thing up.
We keep seeing all the runs scored off of home runs in this ball game. And Hardy pops this one up in shallow left, and Wallace isn't going to try to take that chance.
It's a big out from Mejia. Jamming Hardy after a long at-bat and a tough at-bat. Both of them were battling, and it's the first out of the day for Mejia in the circle, and a big relief. And, you know, in this game against these 2 teams in the last 2 days, we've seen so many big moments, and there's some superstars on the field that have just stepped up. You know, from the home run that we saw earlier from Morgan Howe. Yesterday's game, Kendra Hackbarth home run in the first inning to set the tone. I mean, there's some studs on the field that understand what's at stake and are leaving it all on the field and fighting to try and get their team a victory today.
I think if you're Arizona State, and clearly you're still in this ball game, but while you may have taken a shot, you know, this is a bout. You got to go back and forth. You're trading blows, and you're taking one of Alabama's best shot. They may hit you with the hook, but still got some innings to work with, and this one's far from over.
Oh yeah, a lot of ball game left. A lot of ball game left, and it's going to be interesting now moving forward whether they keep Crystal Goodman in or they bring in Montana Fouts to close this game or try and close this game out. And I think it depends a lot on what Claire Jenkins does in this at-bat right here. If she can get you a lead, I'd go with Crystal as long as you can and then bring Fouts in to close.
Well, if Alabama wins it, they advance to the Super Regionals. And if Arizona State can pull out a W here, they would force a Game 7. Which would be the second coming, essentially, of regional final. It's double elimination format.
Mejia trying to work that outside corner against Claire Jenkins to get strike 2. Barely clips it.
And getting underneath it is Jenkins, and she flies out to left. But not before it's bombs away for Bailey Hemphill. She helps to tie the ball game for the tie.
The biggest hit of the game right here by the best player for this Crimson Tide team to tie this thing up and put some pressure on the Sun Devils.
Welcome back to Tuscaloosa. It's knotted at 5-all as we move to the bottom of the 5th. Alabama coming back, roaring back in the top half of the inning. Hanging a 5 spot on Arizona State. Now we'll see how the Sun Devils respond with Maddie Hackbarth leading it off for the West Coast crew.
3 up, 3 down.
Your response is so important in being able to score in the bottom half of the inning after Alabama's made some noise, and that's what's made Alabama successful in this tournament. They have now scored in the inning immediately after their opponent 4 times. 4 out of 5, that's not bad.
Nope. We'll take those percentages. And Hackbarth still searching for her first hit of the regional.
There you go.
And Crystal Goodman, who came on in relief of Sarah Cornell last inning. And Goodman sitting down Hackbarth. The strikeout, her second of the game. Well, the 7 Innings podcast is the weekly softball podcast with our ESPN personalities that take you all the way on the road to the Women's College World Series. Always some entertaining but enlightening conversation on our 7 Innings podcast. You can catch it on the ESPN app, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We might talk about this regional a little bit.
I'd say so. It's worth talking about.
No shortage of big moments, that's for sure.
No, and I think too, I mean, we've had this conversation throughout the weekend just about Alabama being seeded number 8 overall in the nation, and whether that was a good seed or not. Obviously, they have the opportunity to host a regional and super regional, so if you're in the top 8, that's a good thing, but some thought they may have been able to go a little bit higher given the schedule that they've had in the SEC and been able to win as the regular season champs out of the conference. They went 33-0 to start the year. They've just continued to defy expectations, and you know, these players have told us how much fun it's been to just shock everybody.
And I'm sure these players recognize now that the seeding really doesn't matter, because once you get to the postseason, anything can happen, and Arizona State is giving them a run for their money here at home. And they had to dig deep and kind of try and find their way back into this game, and did. And we're in for a good next few innings.
Way out in front of that one, back-to-back strikeouts for Goodman. She's pumped up about it.
Changeup that Crystal Goodman throws is nasty. Hides it really well in her pitch form, floats it in, gets the big swing and a miss. And you can't ask for a better response from your pitching staff. You go and your offense scores 5 runs, and you come back and get 2 Ks. That's appreciating what your offense did. You struggled in the circle today, whether it was you or Sarah Cornell. Your offense gets you back. It's how you say, hey, I respect what you did for me. I'm going to go out there and work for you.
Acuna pops it up. And a 1-2-3 inning for Crystal Goodman. We'll move to the 6th, tied at 5.
It's got the 2-run home run, and in the 4th, Morgan Howe, the leadoff hitter, knocks one out over the left field wall. And at that point, Alabama looked to be all but out of this game, and Mara Schroeder popped some life back into this team. And then with the bases loaded, Who else but Bailey Hemphill to come through with the grand slam to tie this thing up?
This has been everything. It has given me life and the fans here at Rhodes Stadium as a valiant effort that's been put up by Arizona State, and the answer for Alabama in that last inning. And oh yeah, guess who's up? The party starter from the 5th. Mary Schroeder takes ball 1.
Now, Schroeder was really the first Alabama hitter to make solid quality contact, and she drove it out of the park with a solo home run. And Alyssa Brown on deck, been setting the table 3 for 3, having herself a day as well.
And Schroeder lifting this one once more, giving chase from center field as Morgan Howe. 1 down. Back to the top of the order, as you mentioned, Alyssa Brown, who's got a couple of steals on the day as well.
Alyssa Brown has really gone to her strength, which is using the hard ground out in front of home plate. The defense is playing really tight, really in. And the way to counteract that is to get some bounce and hang time on your slap. And 3 times today, she's done exactly that.
Well, she's hit it in that 5-6 hole really towards Jay Torres, and we've seen the Sun Devils shortstop jumping several times. And if you're Torres, are you thinking, let me back up just a little bit so I can anticipate that hop a little bit more?
No, you can't, because if you play back, you have a longer throw. And I hate to say that, but if you get the bounce to be high enough, it doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do. So Jade Gortares is handcuffed. Even jumping up to try and go get it out of the air sometimes doesn't work that well. All you can hope for is she gets a lesser hop than she's done previously in the game today.
So it's like, the player's unguardable. There's just nothing you can do in this situation with Alyssa Brown with this slapper, any slapper in that situation.
Yeah, sometimes you can play incredible defense and KD's still going to hit a shot, you know what I mean?
And the walk for Brown.
Decided, hey, we're just not even going to play defense. She's been on too many times. We'll just let her get on board. It's only her 14th walk of the year. She puts the ball in play pretty often.
We'll take our chances with that. About 88 degrees and cloudy here in Tuscaloosa. Both of these teams raining runs, 5 apiece. And it's like it's 0-0 all over again, and you're starting over. You got to see who heats up late. KB Sides, after being retired by way of a pop-up and a fly-out in their first 2 at-bats, singled in the last inning. And waits on this one, and it drops. So back-to-back singles for KB Sides, and 2 aboard for Kaylee Tao.
This is a much better at-bat for KB Sides, swinging away than we've seen earlier. Does a better job with her hands and throwing her hands more at the off-speed pitch. Gets it a little bit off the end. But earlier when she was swinging away, she was just peeling off too much, keeping her barrel back and underneath, inducing herself some easy flyouts as opposed to a soft liner.
Just a line drive through the infield, baby. You know you can do it.
I think we've seen this situation before, by the way. I think last inning, had something similar to this.
Bailey Hemphill on deck. Did that grand slam to tie it up. And that's the thing. It's like Kaylee Tao, you can't look past her. She's got 9 home runs on the season. Also gets aboard a ton of times through the base on a ball. Bailey Hemphill, when she walked to the plate, I got a sense that something good was going to happen in that moment.
Yeah, pointing to Coach Murphy over at third base, and at that point the crowd, you know, now batting Bailey Hemphill, and everybody stands up and gets loud. You can't help but smile. This is why you come and play at this level. It's for moments like that.
She's on deck. This one trailing down the right field, left field line, the opposite field hit, and that's the go-ahead run for Alabama. Turn up.
Kaylee Tao is not walking this time. Hits it off the end of her barrel. But recognizing you don't have to do too much. Alyssa Brown is gifted with speed, and when she's on second, you're going to send her every single time. And she flares this one out down the line to left field, and Skylar McCarty, no chance to get that out at home. Cuts it off and keeps Reagan Dykes off of third base. Excuse me, KB Sides off of third base.
And so they're going to pitch to Bailey Hemphill. As Mejia getting the first pitch strike in there. Would you in this situation?
It's a great question.
I mean, given what she did the last time she was up.
Yeah, the grand slam. And this is a different hitter, or excuse me, a different pitcher. That's the only reason I say that you have a shot. Mejia's got a really nice changeup as Bailey Hemphill hit that one off of Cielo Mesa. But 0-2, Mejia did a good job of getting ahead. And Bailey Hemphill, another one of these Alabama hitters that's got a good eye. 55 walks on the year. She knows her zone.
She also has 74 RBI on the season. Incredible. Coming closer to Marissa Runyon's single season record.
Yeah, those are All-American numbers right there for you. 364 average coming into today. By the way, Marissa Home Runyon also had a pretty big grand slam here at the Rhodes House against the Sooners.
Patrick Murphy has seen a lot of awesome moments at the Rhodes House. Coached a number of All-Americans, 53 to be exact. You were one of them. Bailey Hemphill trying to cement her legacy in a Crimson Tide uniform. Head on that one, and it's fair. Kiara Kennedy can't get to it, and another run plated as KB Sides touches home, and the runners advance on the throw. And Hemphill, talking about have yourself a day. Miss Hemphill says, I'm on it.
Third hit of the day for Bailey Hemphill. And the bobble from Kiara Kennedy. And look at Coach Murphy sending Sides all the way. And Kiara Kennedy's not ready for this. When she picks up, she's not thinking home. Doesn't think that they're going to send her And they do, and then the errant throw, which causes Tao and Bailey Hemphill to be able to advance another base. And here you go with Skylar Wallace up, and you still have 2 runners in scoring position. That's the opposite of a heads-up play, and a play that don't let one error turn into 2. It's a big insurance run, too.
Hemphill 2 for 2 today with 5 RBI. The senior seizing this moment as Alabama is 44-1 since 2005. In regional play, they've won 39 straight. And Hemphill trying to add as many runs as possible off her bat to help them punch their way through to the Super Regionals. Trisha Ford looking on, knowing that her team has the ability to come back with the swing of the bat as well. And that one just kind of hit awkwardly. A run does come around to score, and Gortaris gets the out at first. So credit Wallace with the RBI ground out.
It's amazing how aggressively the momentum has turned to Alabama's side, and that's a big miss hit by Skylar Wallace, but she doesn't care. It's a run. With 2 strikes, hits it off the very end of her bat. Gives Kaylee Tao the opportunity to score and put one more run in between them and Arizona State. Get that magic number 8 up on the scoreboard.
That has been their number all season long, since the preseason when they were selected by the coaches in the SEC to finish 8th in the conference. And they go on to become regular season champions. And then the top 8 seed in the country, and now they got 8 runs over Arizona State here in this regional final. Well, Katie Sides has to be feeling lucky because she wears the number 8 for Alabama. She's contributed with a couple of singles. Reagan Dykes hits this one into the outfield and giving chase, and what a great grab on the run by Morgan Howe. We have seen some excellent play in the outfield on both sides. Tip your hat to Morgan Howe. Off-ball regionals presented by Capital One. An awesome day of action from Tuscaloosa as Alabama and Arizona State have been going back and forth. Crimson Tide with a 3-run lead, and Alabama looking to be yet another team to punch their ticket to the Super Regionals. They will face off against the winner out of the Austin Regional, which will be in action later today. And the top half of the bracket, Northwestern and Louisville, and a weather delay in Oklahoma and Wisconsin in action as the Badgers up 2-1 late.
Seeing some crazy stuff. You gotta love this time of year. Softball, mayhem, let's go.
Kentucky, Florida, Oklahoma State, FSU already into the Super Regional round. And Allie Tatnall out of California coming in to pinch hit for Danae Chapman. Tatnall had a sac fly RBI yesterday for the Sun Devils against Lipscomb.
Come on, Crystal. Come on, Crystal.
And a 3-0 count to the junior pinch hitter.
Come on, Crystal. 3 up, 3 down. Now lead it. Right here.
And 4 straight balls, and the walk given up by Crystal Goodman. So the leadoff runner aboard. Bella Loomis, the 9-hole hitter, is up. And look, Crystal Goodman, we were curious to see how she would come out this inning, given the fact that her team helped to give her a little bit more insurance in the top half.
Well, and her team has been in the dugout for a long time. Her and her offense were out on the field for quite a long time, so you always question, how do you stay in your rhythm? She looked so sharp coming out of last inning, 2 strikeouts and a pop-up to go 3 up, 3 down for the first time in the game. And then you come out this inning and and give up a 4-pitch walk.
There you go.
That can't happen, and you got to adjust right now and go right after batters.
The important part is you can't leave the door open for this Arizona State team. Top to bottom, they've been able to produce, especially at the top of the order, and you've got Morgan Howe on deck. She had that 3-run homer to give the Sun Devils a 5-0 advantage, and that lead seemed to hold for just a bit, and Tricia Ford's crew was playing well until giving up 8 unanswered runs. Grabbing it out of the air and doubling off Maddie Morgan with a huge defensive play.
Maddie Morgan is so sure-handed over at third base. She's got a really good glove. We saw that in the SEC tournament. Robs this ball out of the air and knows right away that she's got to get a quick transfer to get the double play. And what was a bad start in this inning with the walk, now you face Morgan Howe with the bases empty, and that's a lot better scenario for Goodman. And just when you think Arizona State's starting to get some momentum, they get a good quality hit. Alabama takes it right back.
That game face on for Morgan. I just love the intensity that these players bring. They play with such heart and fire. Like, don't mess with me, don't come around my way today. That's the kind of look she has on her face. Let me tell you, that's the same thing I saw out of Morgan Howe when we sat down with her a couple of days ago. I mean, it was the same thing where, she was locked in, she was focused, she was all about business. She wanted to take care of things here in Tuscaloosa and felt like her team was trending upward coming into this regional. And a good at-bat for her, keeping the inning alive. Second walk given up by Goodman. And now Howe is aboard with 2 outs for Skylar McCarty. And Kendra Hackbarth is on deck. Well, we saw Montana Fouts warming up in the bullpen earlier in this ball game. And I think we may see a pitching change for Goodman. Montana Fouts, the SEC Freshman of the Year, emerges from the dugout. And she's trying to come in and close this thing out.
I think Crystal Goodman did a a nice job doing her job, which was to keep the score the same. She came in, Cornell had given up 5 runs, and she exits the game in that same score, 5 runs for Arizona State. Just not sharp enough, a little bit too wild in this inning to stay in there. And I think the biggest key is now that Montana Fouts is coming in, you have to make sure that you don't give away free passes to a really talented home run hitting team. A solo shot won't kill you, but multiple home run games will, multiple run home runs will. And she adjusted. She got a lot tougher because what she realized going out against Arizona State is this is a great offense and they can hit some of her best stuff. So she had to be even better. Got more movement, more break on some of her pitches, trusted her stuff, hit the corners, and ended up getting 12 strikeouts after really starting off pretty rocky. And Coach Murphy gave her the opportunity to stay in that game and work through it, and she did, and she's going to be better for that opportunity.
The winning pitcher against Arizona State yesterday. Had the complete game outing. She did give up 2 walks. It was just announced here in the Rhodes House that Oklahoma's 41-game win streak comes to an end. Wisconsin able to pull out the victory, so they will go to a final game today, Game 7. Badgers and Sooners from Norman. Here in Tuscaloosa, Montana Fouts is called on. They try to close out this game against Arizona State. And look, streaks are a really big thing around college softball. We saw one go down in Norman we just mentioned. But here, a 39-game win streak in regional play for the Crimson Tide. You have to go all the way back to May 18th, 2007. Find that last loss. It was the opening game against Tennessee Tech.
Good girl, good girl. Oh, yeah.
It's a good at bat right here by Scarlett McCarty, knowing that the strike zone's been tight all day long. Is forcing Montana to bring you something a little bit closer, especially with the deficit. You don't want to go chasing pitches outside of the zone and let her off the hook coming into this game.
Swing and a miss there at 70 miles per hour off the arm of Montana Fouts. And the walk. And now the tying run coming to the plate for Arizona State and Kendra Hackbarth. And it's worth noting, and for me to remind you, that Kendra Hackbarth was able to go yard off of Fouts.
Yeah, the drop ball inside. Kendra Hackbarth golfed it out of the park.
It was the first home run given up by Fouts in 80 innings pitched. And now Hackbarth, the lefty, looks at strike 1.
Yeah. Hackbarth not necessarily liking that call, a little bit low and outside, something that maybe hasn't been consistently called all day long. But she got the best of Montana Fouts in her first at bat in yesterday's game, and then Montana Fouts came back, pop up 2 strikeouts against Hackbarth in her last 2 at bats. Clearly trying to stay away from Hackbarth, her wheelhouse, a little bit more on the inside corner against Fouts, as you saw. Trying to be smart, but Jade Cortars already has a home run today as well.
There's not a lot of escape in terms of that in this Arizona State lineup. We mentioned already they got 6 home runs this weekend.
You talk about transitioning to the college game, and people say all the time, 1 through 9 teams are just so tough. There may not be a better example in the Pac-12 coming into Tuscaloosa than this Arizona State team. So tough 1 through 9.
Foul down the left field line. And Kendra's parents, Paul and Mary Hackbarth, want to see one of their daughters with a big swing in this moment.
Smart waist pitch right there. Just give yourself an opportunity to regather and keep training her eyes on the outside corner. Potentially might see something a little bit up in the zone. Maybe a little bit in, up.
That one high and out of the zone now, full count.
Reynolds will be going right here too. It's a good chance for Howe to score on anything. Skylar McCarty's also going to be moving.
Out of the zone, loads the bases for Jay Gortares. And it gets all the more interesting now.
Yeah, earlier today, Jay Gortares, the screwball, she opens up her front side. And this was wind aided a little bit. She mishit it, thought she mishit it, but carries out with the strong breeze blowing out to left field. And Reagan Dykes going to go have a conversation with her freshman, the senior captain, going out there, talking to her about the game plan against Gortares, especially since Gortares has been really successful on that inside pitch, hitting it out of the park.
Gortares has just been money all weekend long for Arizona State.
Hitting above 500 for the weekend. A couple of home runs. And Stephanie Van Brakel Prothro also trying to impart some wisdom to her freshman in this moment. Remember, Fouts did struggle yesterday to start against the Sun Devils.
All the runners on board are via the walk.
4 given up this inning. 2 by Goodman and 2 by Fouts.
Good, Montana.
Trying to get that drop ball to get called a strike. Just a little bit too low again. Hasn't been called today.
Foul back by Gortares. It was 1 for 3 against Fouts yesterday. The best Arizona State hitter in this regional. And remember, too, Arizona State, the home team for this game. So, obviously, they're looking to get as many runs as possible. But if not, they do, too, have a chance next inning as well. And Gortares couldn't get up to that one.
Yeah, big difference here. Alabama is the away team. So Arizona State would have the opportunity to walk it off and take this game to a game 2 today.
Right through the legs of Fouts and then through Skylar Wallace, and 2 come around to score. So just like that, Arizona State working their way back into this one, down by a run.
Just finding a way to get the job done. Jade Gortares continues to add to her brilliant weekend. Fights off this outside pitch, goes through Montana Fouts' legs, and between Skylar Wallace and Claire Jenkins, not able to handle it. And the good base running by McCarty to see the bobble and to go home immediately. Bring Arizona State 1 run closer to the Tide lead.
So not out of the jam yet as Maddie Hackbarth, who you feel like she's just due.
0 for so far today. Hasn't been able to catch up to Montana Fouts. Had some trouble on the off speed against Crystal Goodman.
Put this one on the ground. And the first hit of the regional and the tie ball game for Arizona State. You felt like something was coming, and her parents, Paul and Mary, are all too excited.
The perfect time for Maddie Hackbarth to come through. Has been seeing outside pitches from Fouts all day. This one's a drop ball low in the zone. She gets down and on plane. It just drives it by Skylar Wallace at second base. And here you go, celebrating to tie this thing up.
Oh, look at the dude behind. I love it. Just waving around. Come on, the coach in the stands as, you know, this is what this Arizona State team has done all year long. We talked with Trisha Ford. She says our team is gritty. This is our DNA. It's what we do. And they have continued to hang in there, fight. They took the lead. Then they watched Alabama grab the momentum back, get the crowd into it, and now they're silencing them here at Rhodes House.
And they weathered the storm. I mean, Alabama, with the amount of momentum and the amount of energy that the crowd was giving off, you felt the lull for Arizona State. But they didn't let that get to them. They saw their opportunity with the top of the lineup coming up. They took their walks. Jade Gortares and Maddie Hackbarth coming up with a couple big hits, not doing too much, not that home run ball that we're used to seeing from them, but simple, hard ground balls up the middle.
And Alabama not out of this inning yet. Still runners at second and third and 2 out for Kiara Kennedy.
And, you know, looking on the flip side of this, if Arizona State does take the lead and try and force a game 3, now they've seen Montana Fouts that much longer. It's already Courtney Gettins and Sarah Cornell back in the bullpen for the Tide.
We saw Cornell start off this game. Pitch 3 2/3. Gave up the 5 runs and Patrick Murphy watching this heavyweight bout go back and forth.
And where Arizona State has really made the difference in this game is their 2-out production. 7 of their runs have been with 2 outs. It's taking advantage of every chance that you had. And in this inning alone, they were nobody on with 2 outs. They had to dig and start a rally from nothing. Started with a walk to Morgan Howe.
Well, we saw some epic games yesterday.
Right there.
We already told you that Oklahoma pushed to a second game today along with Tennessee, as North Carolina won the first game in Knoxville. Florida State was pushed by South Carolina. They won by 1 run at home. It's mayhem.
That's right, Ole Miss up 5-1 on Louisiana after getting upset yesterday, trying to fight back.
And Tennessee was able to come around and punch their ticket. Oklahoma State was the first to do so. And then Kentucky, Florida, and Florida State followed. Full count to Kennedy. Fouls that one off. She'll come back to the box and try it again. Good shot overlooking the field and inside Rhodes Stadium here in Tuscaloosa. Alabama knotted at 8-all. And this one popped up in the infield. Claire Jenkins is there. But Arizona State does their thing, evening it up at 8-all as we head to the 7th.
The NCAA Softball Regionals is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
It's 8-all in this regional final, and it matters not what you do in the past, but what happens in the present. For Maddie Hackbarth, who was searching for her first hit of the regional, it came at a most eloquent time for Arizona State. They were trailing by 3, and she came through in the clutch. And we move to the top of the 7th, tied at 8-all. This has gone back and forth. Arizona State had the 5-0 lead through 4 innings. And then Bailey Hemphill with the big grand slam to help Crimson Tide with the juice for just the moment before Arizona State answered last inning. And just a good sign that neither team wants to go home. Neither team wants to continue to, will continue to fight. I didn't say that right. Both teams will continue to fight.
Yeah, and it's going to be moving forward. I mean, this is game 1 potentially of the day, and you're already seeing 11 hits from Alabama, 7 from Arizona State. And the pitchers are going to be gassed. It's really going to come down to who takes advantage of the opportunity. You get runners aboard, you got to cash in, and we saw that from Arizona State last inning, how important it was, even with 2 outs to come up.
And Morgan pulls that one in the infield. And Loomis able to deliver it over to Chapman for the first out.
It's off the end of the bat for Morgan. Kind of comes up and eats up Loomis, but she fields it cleanly. It's almost vacuums it up into her chest and makes a good throw over for the first out.
And Patrick Murphy may be calling upon a pinch hitter. And he does so. Emerging from the dugout is Taylor Clark. And Clark, the junior, pinch hitting for Claire Jenkins. Pennsylvania native, walked in this regional. Just one appearance this weekend. When you're thinking about this game, how would you describe what we've seen here today?
I mean, it's been a roller coaster of momentum, and both of these teams have done such a good job taking advantage of opportunity at the plate.
Oh, the strike 3 called on the outside corner. Taylor Clark doesn't like it, and neither do these Alabama fans. And 2 down.
Big strikeout for Mejia right here. I'm not going to lie to you, that pitch has not been called all day long. We've seen how tight on the corner that the umpire has been. Pitch hitter Taylor Clark disappointed in that one.
First strikeout of the day for Mejia. Maris Schroeder will get that solo home run to get this Bama offense going back in the 5th. With 2 outs now and the wind blowing still here from Rhodes Stadium.
Trying to work that inside off-speed pitch to Maris Schroeder. It's got to be smart, though, because Maris Schroeder hit that inside pitch out. It was a little bit elevated and up in the zone, but she's definitely a pull-side power lefty.
Doesn't chase that one. Full count to Schroeder. And for whatever reason, it just feels like this game is suddenly just slowed down considerably. Saw a lot of action in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. And now the 2-out walk to Maris Schroeder. And top of the order, Alyssa Brown, who's got 3 base hits today, walked her last time up. And the lefty slapper. Can she keep the inning going for the tie?
3 for 3 on the day. Puts the ball on the ground well. Took a walk in her last at bat. If I was Arizona State, I might look to try and get a play at 2.
And Schroeder taking off, nobody paying attention, and she's in there safely with a stolen base. Her 20th swipe of the season. More importantly, that puts her into scoring position, and we'll see if Alyssa Brown.
And if Alyssa Brown can get a hop to go over the infielder's head, I wouldn't be surprised if Patrick Murphy sends Maris Schroeder from second on a ball to the outfield. That was an opportune moment for Maris Schroeder to take second, too, because of the way that the infield's playing on Alyssa Brown. They're playing inside of the base, and second base would cover on the steal. You just see a defensive shift that allows you to have a better chance of stealing second. And if for some reason you get thrown out and you make it into the 8th inning, then you have the top of the lineup coming up.
Patrick Murphy has seen Alyssa Brown the instant offense in this game. And throughout the year, as Trisha Ford comes out of the dugout to take a visit, gathers the infield, and 3 balls and no strikes to the leadoff hitter for Alabama. What's she reminding her group of?
I think just being smart, knowing Alyssa Brown really doesn't have the power to hurt you with the swing. So to go after her, because I think KB Sides has a little bit of pop comparatively, and definitely Kaylee Tao does behind her. So you have to be smart in trying to attack a hitter that will do damage, but not really destructive damage.
Outfield staying ready. Heard by Howe in the middle. In center field, Kaylee Tao in the hole. And KB Sides on deck. Alyssa Brown with the pitch. And a strike in to the junior. And the walk to Brown.
Alyssa Brown's on-base percentage in this tournament has been through the roof. Coming into today's game, she was .571 on-base percentage, and she's been on 4 times today. 5 times today.
Unreal.
Can't ask anything more out of your leadoff hitter.
Quick timeout for Mejia to tie her shoes, and now KB Sides, who's had back-to-back singles in her last 2 at-bats, faces off against Mejia once more. Sides, a sophomore outside of the Birmingham area.
Good off-speed pitch there from Mejia. Just trying to find a way to make these Alabama hitters hesitate at all. If in the back of your mind that off-speed pitch potentially could come at any point, you take a little bit off your swing. And there it is again, trying to find the inside corner to lefties, not able to hit it. Once again, those corners and in the river, maybe a ball off the plate are not being called. With the exception of the strikeout to Taylor Clark.
And a big hit for KB Sides. She feels it, testing the arm of Scarlett McCarty. The play at the plate, no throw.
The last 2 innings, the 2-out rallies from both Alabama and Arizona State. Mara Schroeder has been the fire starter for Alabama today. She got on a nice walk, and that allows for Alyssa Brown to follow her with another free pass. And KB Sides, ice in her veins, coming up with the big single to take the lead. And she doesn't try to do too much, just stays inside out of this, hits it on a line. And it's actually a good thing she didn't hit that harder, because I don't think Maris would have scored with the way the defense was playing. Skylar McCarty in left field was playing a little bit in, because KB Sides has that potential to be a slapper.
You mentioned the 2-out production for Arizona State. It was the first for Alabama. A timely hit from KB Sides to give Alabama the lead, at least for the moment.
Look at that 2-out RBI number. Unbelievable. 7 for Arizona State. 1 big one for Alabama to take the lead here in the top half of the 7th inning. In the bottom of the lineup coming up for Arizona State, Unita Acuna, Danae Chapman, and Bella Loomis. Ooh, it's a strong take by Tao right there. It's a knee-buckling changeup. And not really anybody from Alabama has truly hit that changeup hard yet today. And that one just drops a little too low through the zone.
Tried to bait her once more. Did she stay off a bit? Yes.
And that was even closer. Brought it up about an inch, and Coach Ford's asking where that pitch is. Hackbarth saying a little bit low.
David Irwin says she did not go around.
She held it, but I mean, that's barely missing the bottom half of the strike zone. Now we got a full count again to Kaylee Tao with Bailey Hemphill on deck.
Yeah, I was just going to say, dare I say, who's on deck?
Deja vu. Another bases loaded walk.
Well, 3 given up this inning by Mejia, and if you're Trisha Ford, do you stay with Mejia?
I don't know if you have another choice right now. Because if you take Mejia out, you pull her no matter what happens. And the way your offense has been playing, you got a shot to come back and score in the bottom half of the inning.
Pulled this one foul. I think Alabama fans were hoping that swing was going to reflect what she did back in the 5th.
Yeah, it takes a drop ball out of the park. Bases loaded. This was one of those moments you just felt like Alabama was back in this game.
Brown gets out of the way. Kennedy, does she get to the bag in time? And I think it was ruled a foul ball.
One opportunity for Alabama to get Bailey Hemphill up 3 times in a game with the bases loaded. That's a good job by the hitters in front of her, understanding how valuable your 4-hole hitter is and somebody that is one of the best RBI producers in the entire country. You do whatever you can just to get on base. You pass the bat down to Bailey Hemphill.
76 ribbies on the season for Hemphill. 4th career Grand Slam. Pulls it right to the shortstop, Jake Torres, and Samantha Mejia able to get out of that one. Only giving up 1 run. Arizona State with the chance to walk it off when we come back. Don't miss a moment of the action from the NCAA Softball Regionals. We will take you to the best live action on the Bases Loaded channel on the ESPN app. You can see every game and every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series only on our ESPN networks. Well, it's starting to get a little bit more cloudy here in Tuscaloosa. Alabama trying to close out Arizona State and punch their ticket to the Super Regionals. They've been there every year since 2005.
This has been an unbelievable game, and watching these 2 teams compete, especially in the batter's box. You know, and back in the top half of the 7th and the bottom half of the 6th, both teams got in trouble giving up free passes. For Alabama, they walked the top 3 hitters in the lineup all in a row. And Arizona State gave up 3 as well. So if you have any message to your team moving forward right now, it's to go right after hitters. Trust that your stuff is good enough to beat them.
What a moment for Montana Fouts. She picked up her first win in regional play. And in her first season now, a chance to perhaps close out this game to help her team advance to the Super Regionals.
She gave up 4 runs to Arizona State in yesterday's game, gave up 3, but after she gave up those 4 runs, she became really, really tough. Adjusted, got comfortable. It's interesting to see if she does that today.
And the rain starting to come down here in Tuscaloosa. We saw the clouds approaching, and Cell is dumping some rain, so the fans trying to take cover for those who are exposed to the elements. A spring shower.
And it's not sprinkling out there, and that's the problem. It's a good bit of rain. Umpires are going to see what the plan is.
The players are just like, it's cool. We've gotten wet before. It just adds to the drama of this game, of this weekend.
This is loyal fans sticking it out in the weather. Getting creative with the umbrella.
Using a seat cushion there, I think. And that it is. So he's got the hat and the seat cushion, so a little extra protection there.
Seems like it might be letting up just a touch out there.
We saw a lot of weather during the SEC tournament. Last week in College Station, and so the other part to that is your pitcher making sure the ball stays dry.
Yep, she's got her towel on her back hip. Protecting the ball as much as you can.
And this is a leadoff base hit for Yanita Acuna. And now the rain's starting to come down and pour a lot heavier on the field. And I think this one's going to go into a weather delay as both teams retreat to the dugout. Downpour coming our way. It's here, it's wet, so the players will just wait and look on.
Seen a little bit of everything in this game. Well, why not throw in a little bit of rain?
This bottom of the 7th, Arizona State with a runner on first base, Yanita Acuna, the leadoff single. Alabama looking for their 40th consecutive regional win. Montana Fouts the arm in the circle to try to close out the Sun Devils. Caleb Rowe, Tiffany Green with you. Delighted that you decided to come back with us or tune in, whichever one. It's been an awesome game going back and forth between these two. Danae Chapman trying to lay down the bunt. It's ruled foul. Thankfully, that was only a 9-minute delay before we got back into action.
So hopefully it's the last bit of rain that we see today. So it's too good a softball to stop playing.
Absolutely. It was Arizona State that jumped out to a 5-0 lead by way of a couple of home runs from Jake Torres. Morgan Howe. Alabama answered back with a big 5 spot in the 5th. Bailey Hemphill's grand slam, a big reason why she's come through with RBI after RBI this season, 76 on the year. Sun Devils clawing their way back, trailing by 1.
Both of these teams, just the whole game, have been clawing their way back. Started with a 5-run deficit for Alabama and put up a 5 spot in the 5th inning. Got another 3 in the bottom of the 6th, and then Arizona State answers back. There really hasn't been many, I think only one 3-up, 3-down inning in this entire game for both sides. It's been a tough day for the pitchers. Got a tight strike zone against a good offensive team that equates to a lot of hits.
And Chapman lines out to second. 1 away.
It's a big first out for the Tide, keeping the runner out of scoring position as Danae Chapman's not able to get the sacrifice bunt down. Bella Loomis hit a shot to Maddie Morgan. Last time she was up, ended up getting doubled off, hitting into a double play.
Arizona State trying to force another game today. Loomis in the center field, and Brown is there. Arizona State down to their final out with the top of the order and their lead RBI getter in Morgan Howe.
It's maybe the toughest out for Montana Fouts to get in the entire season. You have a senior, Morgan Howe, who's one of the most talented hitters, not only on this Arizona State lineup, but in the Pac-12 and in the country, who's fighting to play one more game in her career.
First pitch strike from Fouts. Jenkins diving to try to get that one. Not able to do so. The single for Morgan Howe. Again, we've seen just the heart, the spirit of this Arizona State team. Keep fighting.
This is not a pretty hit from Howe, but just finding a way, throwing your barrel out there on a tough pitch on the outside corner. Passing the bat down, letting Skylar McCarty get a crack at it with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. And it's not a bad pitch by Fouts and a tough play for Jenkins to make. I mean, this game, it is incredible to see. There is no quit on either side.
The pitch to Skylar McCarty. Lined out to Maddie Morgan. Alabama going back
to the Super Regionals, 15 straight. The Crimson Tide have won 40 consecutive NCAA regional games. Patrick Murphy, all smiles as his Tide able to hang on. What a ball game.
That was so well fought. And Skylar McCarty hit an absolute shot off of Montana Fouts. And to end this game, Maddie Morgan had to make a great play at the hot corner. But so much credit to both of these teams for coming out today in an elimination potentially for Arizona State and making it as hard as humanly possible for the other team to get a win. 12 hits for Alabama, 9 for Arizona State. So competitive. And for Arizona State to come in here and play the way they did and give Alabama the 8 seed a run for their money has been incredible. And what they were able to do with a depleted roster after the transfer portal is a credit to the players on the field with a lot of character that kept fighting through adversity their entire year.
And we saw one of the 3 seniors, Morgan Howe, help lead the charge. Skylar McCarty, another senior, and Taylor Becerra. What careers they've had out in Tempe. It comes to a close for them as Alabama continues to celebrate here at the Rhodes House. They've gone to every Super Regional since that format was instituted back in 2005, the longest active streak in Division I. So Alabama moves on. They await the winner out of the Austin Regional. There's more games to come on our ESPN networks. The Super Regionals kick off starting Thursday. Your final thoughts, Kayla, from this wild weekend?
I've been on my edge of my seat for the entire weekend. So much good softball, and so much credit to the players on the field for giving it their all. And we got an offensive show, and you know I like that as a hitter. I can't wait for Supers now.
A 9-8 final. Alabama goes on to the Supers. For Caleb Bro, I'm Tiffany Green. Coming up next, the Alabama spring game. We thank you so much for joining us from Tuscaloosa.